Okay, continuing on with our exponents. Okay, x to the 4 over x squared. We know that this becomes x times x times x times x over x times x, right? Okay, so x over x times x over x times x over 1 times x over 1. All right? Now x over x is equal to 1 over 1 times x, which is our x squared. All right? This is how this behaves when we work it out in our fullest. However, there's a rule involved. Our rule is simply this. X to the a over x to the b is x a minus b. All right? Depending if the a is bigger. So as a matter of fact, we'll make this bigger. X to the a. All right? Now, if we do this, notice my 4 is bigger than the 2. So this becomes x to the 4, x squared is x to the 4 minus 2. All right? And this becomes x squared. Just like that. Okay? Good to go? Now, let's flip it around. So if we look at it this way, x times x times x over x times x times x times x times x. This becomes x over x, x over x, x over x, 1 over x, 1 over x. Right? Now, hey, camera girl, am I writing these big enough by the way? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so x over x is 1, 1, 1, 1 over x, 1 over x, and I know that this is simply 1 over x times 1 over x, which is 1 over x squared. That's one way to do this. Come a long way. However, we can shorten this up with our rule. Notice my a is here, but my b is bigger, right? Just like the 5 is bigger than the 3. So in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to say 1 over x to the b minus a, which is, in our case, x cubed over x to the 5 is 1 over x to the 5 minus 3. All right? Which is 1 over x squared. Just like that. Okay? Now, if you really want to get technical about this, I'm going to show you this rule now. And I probably should have showed you this first, but whatever. X to the negative a is equal to 1 over x to the a. Essentially, it's bad manners to have a negative in the exponent. I mean, you can have it there, whatever, it doesn't look right. So what we do is to keep it from, being bad manners, we're going to drop it down. When we drop it down, we're going to cross this line. As soon as we cross this line, we're going to change the sign of the exponent. All right? So if I also had 1 over x to the negative b, same thing. I got a negative in the denominator with my exponent. Here's my denominator. Got a negative in the exponent, bad manners, so I'm bringing it up. So if I think about that last rule that I did, x to the 15 over x to the 7. Notice that this is just like saying, I can do my 15 minus 7, which would be, what, 8? All right? So, yeah, 8. Okay, so with that said, if I think about this step here, well, how is this becoming negative? Well, the reason for that is because x to the 15 over x to the 7 is equal to x to the 15 times x to the, this comes up, negative 7, all right? Based on this rule. It's positive down here. When it comes to the numerator, notice I changed my sign, all right? So this negative 7, we're same basis, so we add 15 plus a negative 7 becomes x 15 minus 7, which is x equals to 8. All right? So this right here, this rule that we're talking about is essentially working in conjunction with this rule. All right? So you can think of the last rule that we did as possibly this, based off of this rule if you'd like, or you can think of it as the way that I showed you the first time. Whichever one still works out. But the big idea here is notice, when this is negative, we brought it up to be positive. Notice when I do this, the big guy stays home. The big guy is my 15. So the 7 comes up, and when it comes to the top, it becomes negative. And then that's how we get to 15 minus the 7. All right? So I'll do another one. All right, so we've got this. There's a few ways we could do it. We could say, hold on, x divided by, put the x times x 12 times over x times x times x, so on and so forth. However, if we look at this, we could say, essentially, this is x to the 12. My big guy is a 12. My little guy's a 3. The 3's coming up. When the 3 comes up, it changes its sign. So I'm just going to put this like that. Right? I got my y, but the y down here, the 9's bigger. So the big guy stays home times y to the negative 4. This comes down, I change its sign to negative. So then this becomes x to the 12 minus 3, y to the 9 minus 4, x to the 9, y to the 5, just like that. All right? Now you can skip this step if you want to, but I want you to understand that essentially these are relating to each other. So that's that.
So the big guy always stays home?
Yes, the big guy always stays home. All right? Big guy stays home. Now let's think about it in this aspect. All right, now when we look at this one, here's a 3, here's a negative 15. Well, the 15's a bigger number, but it's negative. So my big guy is my 3, okay? So, in the same token, I'm looking at this. My big guy is my 2. So, I got my x3 times x comes down, this becomes positive. I got the y squared. This comes down times y to the 4th. The only thing I'm left is a 1 up here. All right? So this becomes 1 over x 15 plus 3, y 2 plus 4, well, 3 plus 15. All right? 1 over x to the 18, y to the 6. Just like that. Good to go? All right. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to work this one out. If I wanted to, I could distribute this out, but that's not what I want to do. I want to work my insides of the parentheses first. So I'm going to work this out. 25 and 10, I can reduce this down, so this becomes 5 over 2, just like that. Then I work these. Here's a 5. Matter of fact, I'm going to change this up just because. I'm going to make that a 3. So my big guy is my 5 down here. So this becomes x to the 5 plus 5. Now my y's, notice my y's are the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you bring up or down. So we're going to make this y to the 3 minus 3. And this is all going to be squared. Okay? So from here, this is going to be 5 y to the 0, 2 x to the 10. Y to the 0 is equal to 1. And let's not forget my square. So this is 5 squared over 2 squared x 10 times 2, right? 25 over 4x to the 20, just like that. Notice essentially what I've done. I took this 2, I distributed 5 times 5, 25, 1 times 1, 1, so it's, I didn't even bother putting it in. 2 times 2, 4. This distributes down, we multiply the exponents. 10 times 2, 20, just like that. Now, I didn't go over this part. I should have already in a different video or whatever, but if not, let me go ahead and go over this really quick. If x over x is equal to 1, right? Then I want you to think about this. X to the n over x to the n is also equal to 1, because anything over itself is equal to 1. But if we take the rule that we know, just before, like I did, I said, well, hold on. If they're the same, it doesn't matter where you bring them, right? So this is x to the n over x to the n, which is x to the n minus n, which is x to the 0. So notice that 1, go through all this, is equal to x to the 0. So when your 0 is an exponent, you know that's equal to 1, based on what we've done. Okay, joke time. Here it comes. Dun, 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 dun. That's you.
Okay, so why don't aliens eat clowns? Because they taste funny.
Yay!